Athletes make probably the best employees, potentially, and probably some of the best entrepreneurs. Failure really is the pathway to success, and you have to learn from them. And if you're unwilling to learn from what you did wrong, you will never be better, and you will never achieve your goals.
And I think in terms of high performance, that really is the key that separates those who win to those who got close. Welcome guys, welcome back to Personal Transformation TV. I'd like to bring in our special guest, Dan.
Hi.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for inviting me in for this.
No, thank you. If you could just, tell our audience over here, what you currently do in your life at the moment, just to start off.
Okay, so my focus is my brand, my new sports brand, Speed Freak. What we do is we help athletes in the pursuit of victory. And to hopefully feel unstoppable, we want to help people achieve their goals. So I've spent years developing a sports training product to help athletes run faster, jump higher and prevent injury. And I am in the middle of setting up the launch for that product.
Amazing, amazing. And on that note, we'll continue that on in the layer segment. But first, Dan, can you just please tell us how this all happened? Your sporting journey. Like, how did it start?
Well, it's going back a long time now. So it started off. As a kid, I was always so active, and I just loved running. I just wanted to run. I didn't want to do anything else. Just run. Run and play football. But I liked football because it involved running.
Okay.
And yeah, so I was naturally very active, and I think I could have gone into a few different sports, to be fair. And I thought I had so much energy, I had to channel it into something. I couldn't just not do sport. I think every kid is born with a certain activity levels and energy that they have to use in there. But my natural inclination was into running in general. My granddad used to send me and my cousin off to different sports camps and there's one of a variety of different sports, including a bit of football, trampolining, athletics, everything. And they sent us to football camps and everything like that. Which kind of, I was exposed to quite a lot of different sports.
Okay.
And the one that I loved doing was athletics. I just loved doing long jump. It helps when you're particularly good at it, and everyone bigs you up, and so it kind of aids that kind of enjoyment when people are telling you actually you're really good at this, and that's why we end up doing something. We do something. We enjoy it more because we tend to be good at it.
Absolutely.
And so that's basically how I got started. And I could have easily gone to football. So the decision was football athletics.
Okay.
My dad was very much in favour of me going into athletics, and I don't regret that decision at all. And so he got me involved into an athletics club, took me down to an athletics club, and I loved it.
Okay.
Never looked back.
Amazing, amazing. So I like how you mentioned it was between athletics and football, and you mentioned because you just like football because of the running aspect of it.
Yeah, basically, so I was faster than everyone, so it was great. I could kick the ball down and no one could catch me. It was great.
Wow.
But again, I think I liked that as well because people told me I was good at it. When people tell you you're good at something, you tend to like it that bit more.
Okay.
In saying that, I was good at trampoline and I liked trampoline, but there wasn't enough running involved. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so you mentioned a lot about running. So what is it about running in athletics that I should say, maybe metaphorically saying, soothes your soul or like gets you into that state of utter excitement?
It feels so good.
It feels so good.
Yeah, it just
sounds like a drug.
Oh no, well it almost is a bit of a drug though, isn't it? It activates, gets you on. Yeah, in a good. Well, you've got your natural drug, your endorphins. And
absolutely.
Stuff, don't you? So. And it's all about that emotional feedback when you do something, and that's how experiences get imprinted into you, isn't it? So that's why you keep doing it, because wait a minute, this feels good, so you get a greater connection with doing that thing. So you know, I was naturally pretty quick. I've got a low centre of gravity, so I could accelerate quickly, and it felt great. I've got 2 older brothers. One's 5 years older and one's 7 years older.
Okay.
And at the age of 13, I was faster than both of them.
Wow.
And it just felt good beating my brothers as well.
Wow.
And so it's just that kind of when you're fast, it's nothing beats that acceleration when you hit the ground. You can feel yourself shifting. It's like that pure acceleration. It's like people's obsession with fast cars and fast motorbikes. It's that same thing, but I'm doing it myself. I don't need it. I am the engine, and there's a kind of a slightly different feeling and attachment to it. But it's exactly the same kind of process as people who like fast cars. It's the same thing. Beating fast is fun, but when you're doing it with your own steam, it's even better.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Wow. You know, hearing this, it feels like I should go for a run now.
Should, it's fun.
Oh,
do it.
And so this brings me to another curious question: is what were the sort of achievements that you've gotten for yourself in your athletic career?
So it's a good question. So I started doing athletics from when I was young. I came 3rd in national under 15s UK championships in long jump.
Okay.
So for my club. So even I was a sprinter / long jumper, and obviously sprints, it's so competitive. So a lot of the time, if there wasn't space in maybe the 4x1 team or the 100 team, I'd do the long jump. Obviously, I came 3rd in it, and then I didn't grow, so I couldn't really continue that kind of that kind of path really. But it was the sprinting that I really enjoyed anyway. So yeah, I came 3rd in that. So I competed a lot in the Southern Men's League. I won the Athlete of the Season a couple of times for my athletics club, and I was at a good level, but I wasn't quite good enough to reach that extra height, the 1%, the elite.
Okay.
You know, so I had lots of early achievements, and then it kind of through. I'm like, if I could go back and coach myself, I think I'd do a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big time. I think it's a case of there's lots of things that I wish I could improve and do differently.
Okay.
And I think if I had, then I might have been able to achieve that a bit more.
Okay. So now that you mentioned that, is that in terms of, let's say, if you were to coach yourself back then, was it what would those how would you then coach yourself? Is it the technique? Is it
also, so from going to the world of coaching and endeavouring to be the best coach I could be, I learned a hell of a lot. So when you stop doing a sport, when you start coaching, you actually start doing what your old coach used to do with you.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So I started doing it, and I realised, oh no, but wait a minute, I've learned this. I need to change that. I need to change this, and it's the holistic thing. Okay. So it's just the overall knowledge that I kind of gained from that. Little things like how much I trained. I'd focus a lot on technique, and I'd focus on foot position. Hence my products. That's exactly why, because that was probably one of the single biggest thing. Training load, exercise technique. There's a whole host of things that I do differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so just going back to your sort of athletic career, what were the sort of real challenges for you during that time?
Injuries.
Injuries?
I think every athlete would say injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of them anyway.
Absolutely. I could relate to that.
Yeah, I think there's no athlete in the world that doesn't. I'm like, if you're not training hard enough to get injured, you're probably not really an athlete. In many sense. Like, yeah. So I'm like, injuries are a sign that you're putting the hard work in. I guess to an extent, I'm like, depends whether it's because of hard work or if it's because of technical inability. Which actually it's largely down to technique, to be honest, but then, you know, you have to give your body the stresses to actually be injured as a cause of that. So yeah, injury, my nickname at uni was my hammy. My hamstring kept bloody going. And it is all down to my foot position, especially on my left side, and my biomechanical inefficiencies and my muscular imbalances, which kept causing the same recurring problem with trapped nerves in my hamstring. My long and short end of my bicep femoris kind of like got stuck together, and so it really impeded me. And so that was probably the single biggest frustration, where you're training well, comes up to competition, you get injured a week before the competition starts. In athletics, you're training, 90% of the time you're training, 10% you're competing. And so it's even more soul destroying because it's not like, oh, I'll have another game next week or anything like that. Well, I'm like, you might, but there's only a small little window of competition that you can do your best in, and that happened far too much. That would be the biggest frustration. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you know that it was time to retire from your sport?
I woke up in the morning, I didn't want to do it.
Wow, okay.
It was as simple as that. I think I was tired of the setbacks, and that's the toughest thing I think for any athlete as well, is just, do you know what, I keep getting injured. What's the point? I'm training so hard and pushing myself to limits. I'm living, breathing, eating, sleeping. I'm waking up being extra disciplined. I'm focused, and what's the end result? The end result is I'm watching people run instead of doing it myself because I'm injured. Or you're going through all the rehab process over and over and over again. I think I reached that moment where it was like, I need a degree. I got to the age where I thought, I'm not really going to break through right now, am I? So it just felt right. I was like, I had to knock it on the head. I'm like, trust me, I tried to train on through it for a good month. I thought, no, come on, it's just a little thing, I'll get over it. It didn't go away. And I thought, I need to channel my energy into something else. So yeah, that's when I decided, I kind of just knew.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so when you start to realize that fact, oh, you know, I've decided to go into, you know, retirement, what were the challenges from there on? The
big challenge was, at first I was happy. I was like, I don't have to go to training today. Okay. I was like, I can get playing, I can play PlayStation, or I'm going to have a beer. That'll be amazing. I can have a beer. But I was studying at uni at the time. I was studying sports performance at the University of Bath. So and it was in my final year of my degree. So I kind of channeled it into my study and trying to know everything I could possibly know before graduating. Yeah. But I did have that energy where it's like, after a couple of weeks, like, wait a minute, I've got all this energy. Because from training 6 days a week, you get really fit, believe it or not.
Oh yes.
And when you're that fit, you've got that extra energy, and you can't do nothing with it. So I did end up getting down to the gym. I even signed up for an open event race, even though I wasn't keeping up that same kind of training level, just for the enjoyment of it, because I missed it. So I did do that, and that kind of helped me out a little bit. I was happy. But yeah, I just channeled it into studying and made sure I got my degree.
Wow. So, okay. Yeah. So you managed to put that energy into your studying then.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. And as you started, you know, progressing into this life after sports, what were the things that you started to learn that you didn't know from being an athlete?
I don't know where to start. I genuinely don't know where to start. And I think a big part of knowing that journey is a lot of athletes go into coaching.
Okay, yeah.
And they do it for different reasons.
Yeah.
The reason I did it was because I have this desire to be better than I was yesterday, and I've got this desire to want to improve. And the way coaching works is, and I always see the best in people, I always see the potential in people.
Yes.
I always look at someone like that, I will never tell them that they can't achieve something. Because you can, you just have to put your mind to it and endeavour. And and there is always a way. And I think it's very possible if you've got the right guidance. And as a coach, it was focused on improving myself, improving my knowledge, improving my coaching methods, building relationships with athletes. But it's also about seeing the improvement in the athletes as well, and kind of passing on what I didn't have onto them.
Right. Okay.
So I wouldn't know where to start that question because there's just so many things.
It's fine. Maybe you could start off with, like, you mentioned a guide, like, you know, with that proper guidance. What was, you know, your guide into transitioning to a life after sport?
Well, my guide was to, again, channel my efforts into making sure that people didn't make the same mistakes that I did. Okay. Especially after learning with my biomechanical inefficiencies. That was one of my biggest things. So that's why, as a coach, drilling technique, because I know how important it is, not just for performance, but for injury prevention. And that's what I became obsessed with.
Wow.
Because if you go a season without being injured, you'll have a good season.
Okay.
So if you have a period of training where you're not getting injured, you'll have a decent season. And I did actually achieve that with a lot of my athletes. They didn't go injured for the whole season.
Wow.
Many of them.
Okay.
And because I drill technique so much, not necessarily technique and injury. Performance and injury, they're one of the same thing. If you get the technique right, you won't get injured. If you get your strength and conditioning right, which is ingrained into technique, you won't get injured. But you improve your performance. It's a double whammy. You can't have one.
Wow. Okay.
And this is kind of why I've taken the path that I've taken with my products and everything, because that's what my passion was. Because my mistakes were largely biomechanical, and possibly overtraining as well. So the amount of times I found myself telling an athlete, like you need to step back. And as an athlete, every athlete will be like, that's the hardest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
You almost have to flip it on its head. So your training session today is to stretch, or your training session today is to rest, or there's a different kind of
train coach.
I know, but you need to rest, because otherwise you'll burn out and you'll get even more injured and everything. So I think there's that mentality, especially in athletics, you have to work hard every single day. Well, you can work hard, but you can work hard on different things in different aspects.
Absolutely. And so you then talk about from there, now that you mentioned you're creating this product.
Yes.
And can you tell us more about that?
I can definitely tell you more about that.
Yeah.
So I started the journey about 7 or so years ago now. Yeah, it's about between 7 and 8 years ago. I came up with the idea. So again, I was obsessed with technique. And one of the biggest failings, failing is the wrong word, difficulties of athletes is to maintain the right foot position. Because my problem has hence been called my hammy, my hammy being my hammy. It was because my biomechanical inefficiency led to all these injuries, hamstring pulls and hamstring strains all the time. And it impaired my performance too. So I was obsessed with this because there's no real coaching method to improve it. So I worked with every level of athletes, so from absolute beginners and novices all the way through to TAS scholarship athletes and GB athletes. I was lucky enough to help coach, assist with coaching the women's GB handball team in the lead up to London 2012. Every level of athlete could not get the foot in the right position. So you're doing all these exercises and you're ingraining that neural pathway, but it's ineffective and it's inefficient and it leads to injuries. And the stronger that pathway, the stronger that movement pattern's going to be. And I saw it too often. And with everything else you can kind of coach, there's coaching cues. Head up, chest up, coaching cue. And it's a simple fix that saves a few paragraphs of speech. But with getting the foot in the right position, there's no real method. It's like toes up, dorsiflex. Do this, that, the other. So one day I was actually assisting a friend of mine coaching some young track and field athletes, 14 years old. First session with them, and he just wanted them to chill up, just do some technical drills. Just let's see how you move. And there's one girl, oh my god, the worst foot position ever. It really is the worst. Like her foot was flopping like that all the time, no lift, no dorsiflexion going up at all. And so I was like, you really need to get your toes up. I was like, right, how can I do this? At the time, actually, I was periodising my warm-up and technical drills for all the athletes I was about to get. Because when I'll go back to my coaching, I had every level of athletes, so I had to cater for them, but I didn't know what I was going to get until the next academic year. So I was planning for all sorts of things, and in this I was thinking of techniques and ways to gradually improve the foot position and ingrain that technique. But the sooner you do it, the better. And so with this girl, I was very much in this frame of mind of how to do this. And I just said to her, imagine a resistance band is putting your foot up. Got a very, very small improvement. But it was something in the head that was kind of ticking over. So I went over and I got this big power band, like the biggest one I could find. Got it to stand there, yanked up her foot and got it to do a cycle drill. Took it away. I said, right, do the drill again. And the improvement was far better than I thought it would be. It was actually quite impressive, and because she actually understood what she had to do. Instead of just telling her to get your foot up, there's an actual understanding of how it should feel. So there's a connection there. I didn't really think too much of it apart from, so when I was a coach, as I said, I was always trying to do something better. So I was thinking, "Wow, how can I build on this? Because I made real good progress with that." Slept on it, came back the next day, got one of the other coaches who was a former basketball player. "Well, just do this drill for me." It's all over the place, you know. And I got him to do a very similar exercise, and the result was absolutely astounding. I was like, wow. But what was perfect about it is because it very much, as I said, track and field, or being out on the athletics track, or running, or swimming, or gymnastics, it's a form of strength and conditioning. You're developing neural pathways, and you're strengthening those neural pathways. And that's what strength conditioning is about. But what I was able to do was combine both the worlds.
Wow.
And this is why I came up with the foot reflex, to develop power and going into perfect technique.
Wow.
Through optimal foot position, which no other product in the world actually does. And I don't know why no one does it, they're all missing a trick. And so that's very much our ethos and our philosophy behind things.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's interesting how you managed to develop this product just by noticing that little foot.
That little foot position means everything.
Absolutely, and I didn't, know that. This kind of taught me just from that, the really importance of keeping eye on details. Wow. And I think in terms of high performance, that really is the key that separates those who win to those who got close.
Yeah, that's true. I think it has an impact on every level. Bigger athletes need to learn that movement pattern sooner rather than later. The sooner they learn it, the better athlete they will be. But the ones who are at the top end, who have that raw natural ability, and they work hard on their technique, especially track and field athletes, that you say dorsiflex to them, they will understand what you're talking about. It's really well drilled. Where you don't get that in other sports.
Yeah.
Rugby, football, you watch them, the foot position's all wrong, but you could prevent so many, like you could prevent your £15 million player from getting hamstring pulls all the time by improving that foot position.
Absolutely.
So there's so many different connotations to it, and it's about getting novice athletes or young athletes, getting them to a level of an understanding to get a reasonable foot position.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's going to prevent a lot of injury as it was, and improve performance, but at the top end, you can always be better.
Cool. So just to sum up, because it seems you've spoken about a lot of learnings from your athletic journey to now being an entrepreneur. So can you just, for the benefit again of me and the audience, tell us the life lessons you took as an athlete and now putting it into this entrepreneur journey that you're in?
Yeah, sure. Well, first and foremost, I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Ever. I just wanted to be the best athlete I could be, and if not, then the best coach I could be, and then train the top athletes in the world and always do it for the rest of my life.
Okay, wow.
Until I found obviously the outlet to say, actually I can help more people than people I'm just coaching.
Wow.
Biggest life lessons is failure really is the pathway to success, and you have to learn from them. And if you're unwilling to learn from what you did wrong, you will never be better, and you will never achieve your goals. And I think the other thing is to never give up and never give in, because as I say, you can always be better and you can always do better. If you give up, you can never be better.
Wow.
And as an athlete, I look back and I think, well, I quit. Should I have quit? Should I? I did go back to it, and I put in place the things that I'd learned, and I did perform much better, but I wasn't putting the same effort and energy into it. So you got to keep going, and you've always got to believe in yourself and believe that if you always have the mindset, you can always improve, and there's always a way to do it.
There's always a way. Yeah.
There's always a way. Have your process goals. Take a step. As an athlete, everyone has their process goals. When you're running 100 metres, any time I thought of the end result, I flopped. Any time I thought of that first step, second step, third, fourth, fifth, pick-up phase, I smashed it. I did well, but it didn't happen often enough. And that's what you take into life after an athlete. That same focus and dedication on your end goal, but how you're going to get there. That's the most important thing you can do, and athletes make probably the best employees, potentially, and probably some of the best entrepreneurs, because you've got to carry on that drive, focus, determination to achieve your goals.
Absolutely.
You've got to pursue your victory. That's what it's all about. And winning isn't necessarily about winning a race. Winning isn't necessarily about being an entrepreneur. It depends on what your goals are. You could for you want to help other athletes, which is great. So that's the goal you're pursuing. That's if you can help one athlete or one form of athlete, you've achieved your victory, and that's what you've got to keep striving towards. And the journey keeps going, so you have to keep doing it. It's probably the biggest thing I've learned, especially from coaching. In my entrepreneurial journey, I've done lots of things wrong. I've made so many mistakes. If I could go back to day one, because it's been a long journey, I would do 95% of it completely differently. And going forward, if I was to do another business, I know what to do now.
Wow. And
that's the thing. And the same thing, you got to take your life after an athlete into coaching or into whatever your endeavours are, whatever goals you want to achieve, and take the same process of dedication, focus, determination, how you process goals and execute them. And that's how you'll end up being successful. But it's a long road.
Absolutely.
It's a long road. You hear of entrepreneurial journeys. People will find an entrepreneur and be like, oh well, here's an overnight success. No, they weren't. No, they were not. There's no such thing as an overnight success. You just see the end result of years of hard work and endeavour. And that's the same thing as if you're an athlete. Some athletes don't make it until their 30s. They've put in the hard work and endeavour, and they're like, oh, they've come out of nowhere. No, they haven't. They've had a whole journey. And that's what entrepreneurship's all about as well. You've got a journey. And you will make mistakes along that journey. And that's why it takes so long. It's a learning curve that no one else can teach you.
Absolutely. Seriously, that is amazing learning. I even relearned some learnings just hearing from that. And so, before we finish up, can you just quickly mention about maybe a minute of what this product, this Speed Freak, is and how it could benefit people using it?
Okay, yeah, sure. So the product's called the Freak Flex, and I've developed the brand Speed Freak, which is all about helping athletes in pursuit of victory, as we've just spoken about. It's the same kind of journeys. So the Freak Flex helps athletes to run faster, jump up, and prevent injury by optimising foot position. So you're developing power and ingraining it into perfect technique. So remembering the world of strength conditioning, track and field technique, and athleticism can be used in so many different ways. It's a really good rehab tool. It's the one-stop shop for performance and injury prevention and rehab. So you can use it as a rehab tool as well, which means you save money on rehab equipment and performance equipment. And it gets to the crux of things. No other product in the world will develop power and ingrains it into technique. They don't exist. They're either focused on technique or power development. And that's what the Freak Reflex does. And that's what it's all about in a nutshell. And Speed Freak, we're going to continue to help athletes in the pursuit of victory, and not just athletes, anybody. People recovering from ankle surgery, that's where the product really comes in really well as well. Lots of people have used it for that. And for cerebral palsy athletes and people with cerebral palsy, foot drop syndrome. So our mission is to keep producing products that will help you in your pursuit of victory one way or another. And that's our goal and that's our mission.
Amazing. And so guys, if you'd like more information about Speed Freak and the company and what they do, I highly recommend you click the website, the links below, as well as we'll attach where they can follow you in social media. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. And I'm going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign in March as well, so that we can actually get the product produced into market. One thing I did miss out really is the fact that we've already undergone one production run. And we've supplied athletes to Team Bath University, English Institute of Sport with the product and stuff. So we've gone through a big phase of finding out what works and what doesn't work so well. We've rejigged it, we've set up manufacturing, and we've made improvements. So we really need to raise the money to be able to produce this product so we can help as many people as possible.
Gotcha.
So that's why we're doing a crowdfunding campaign to help us fund this so we can help as many people as possible. And that's what our main focus is right now.
Okay. So, and guys, continue on as what he was saying. If you feel that this product and this company touched you in some way and inspired you, I highly recommend checking out their and support their crowdfunding page. Is that alright to say?
Yeah, that's more than alright to say. Yeah, okay, definitely.
Perfect.
we need your support. We're nothing without other people.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And as we all know, you know, be helping each other. That's all really life is, right? And on that note, guys, I'd like to say thank you to Dan.
Yeah, thank you
for being here and for giving us some value bombs, bro. Like, seriously, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
as
you.
well as, guys, if you like this video and feel that it could benefit other people, give it a like, give it a share. And this is all, again, we're all about like helping other people and see how we can continue to do that. And always remember, guys, embrace your life and continue to see it as an adventure.